Hey, I just want to update you on a molt, the Stromatopelma calceatum, featherleg baboon. I can just barely make it out there. If I open the lid, it'll go into hiding, so that's why I'm not opening up the lid. So, not that you would see that much in this way, but here's the molt. So, yeah. About the same color as my dog, huh? So there we go. Alright, move on with something else. We got ourselves another molt today. Let's check it out. Look at that. There's a molt, and you can barely see some of that real shiny purple on the leg molt, the molted leg right there. Now, unfortunately, we can't see the spider, but I believe it's where my thumb is. It went into hiding, of course, when I opened the lid. But I think it's so cool to see that purple in just the right light. There's a little bit, you can see it a little bit there. So yeah, I can't wait to see this one eat when it's ready. The molt was fairly soft, so it's pretty recent. But by the time I do my next feeding video of the babies, I'm pretty sure this one's gonna eat. Maybe not on camera, but it'll eat. All right. Well, look who molted. My Panthobeteus nigercolor. I knew that since this one didn't eat, that it was definitely in pre-molt, because this one always eats. I really need a good molt from this one, because the others have not been. So it'll be interesting to see if I can remove this molt from this tea. I'm going to try to, because this one tends to damage them and I don't get a good molt. But look at the purplish pink on it. Check that out. Gorgeous, huh? Matches my flower. I did that on purpose. All right, are you going to let me have that? Or are you going to give me trouble? For too long, I'm going to have to give you a bigger hide. All right, let's see. Come on. Maybe if I very lightly nudge you, you'll get off of it. Thank you. There we go. That could have been much worse. So I'm going to sex this one and hope we can get us a good molt, and then finally get a good gender reveal. All right, we'll move on. Hey guys, I got a couple of molts here. As you saw in the last video, my Panthobeteus nigercolor molted, and here's the molt of that one. And I will give you an example of what a male looks like. Now, unfortunately, part of the abdomen part of the molt broke. So here's the first pair of book lungs right here. And in between the first pair of book lungs is where you would sex your tarantula molt. And as you can see here, there is absolutely no flap whatsoever. So this is a male, confirmed. And then this one over here, my Vitellius chromatus, used to be Nandu chromatus, molted as well. And in comparison, here's the first set of good book lungs. And if you look right here in between, there's a flap right here. That indicates that it is a female. See, there's a flap you can kind of lift up on it. That means it's a female. And some of them have like these two pointy looking things on top of the rounded part or the curved part of the flap. Some tarantula species have those and some don't. But it is still part of the flap. And see, You can even move it if it's not too stiff. But yes, that's a female. And then this one, here's the book lungs again. No flap whatsoever. Now, from what I understand, in fact, I just did the research just a few hours ago on this to confirm it. But with the Pamphobedius nigrocolor, you can tell the difference between them when they get a little older, because they look totally different. The female is more of a, from what I've heard, a darker color, more brown, more of a real dark brown, but it has real beautiful purplish, pinkish hairs mixed in, and maybe some red hairs mixed in. But the male of the Pamphobedius nigrocolor is stunning to look at. They have the real vibrant purplish pink legs, and you saw that in the last video, and I had to confirm that because I couldn't remember for sure if you could easily tell the difference between the sexes of those, and yes, you can, without even having to look at a molt. When they're old enough to tell the difference in color. As they get older, you can tell for sure. But I had a feeling that this one was going to be a male. I did not want that, because I don't know anyone who has a female right now. So hopefully we can just get a good life out of him somehow. Hopefully a while, because this is a gorgeous, I mean, this is definitely where the males are better looking than the females are, in my opinion. So you know how a lot of times with the birds, you know, male birds are better looking usually. Well, with this particular species of tarantula, the males are more pretty than the females. So, at least in my opinion anyway. So there you go. You can see the size difference there. And this one's not even full grown yet. Not even full grown. So, but being a male, it's not going to reach, you know, the huge size that a female would reach. But still, quite impressive for that species of tarantula to get as large as they are. This is probably the largest she'll get. Well, you know, you'll see her. I'll show, when she comes out of hiding, I'll show you what she looks like, but she wouldn't be that much bigger than this. But I would say that the way she looks now is the largest that her species gets. But you can see in comparison to my hand here, I'm just an average size 5'5" person, so my hands aren't very big. They're not too small, not too big, but you can kind of tell a little bit, get a kind of an idea of how big it is. But there you go. So there's a perfect example. I just wish that more of the abdomen was there so you could see it, because, you know, they have more than one pair of book lungs. You know, they have, you know, here's the first pair, and there's usually another pair down here, and you can see part of that one. And this one here, you can only see the first pair because the other part broke off. But that's the best I can do with what I have right now. So hopefully that helps. All right, we'll move on to something else. I got a new molt today. The Pseudohopalopus spinulopappus molted. Look at that dark navy blue. Isn't that gorgeous? The Colombian salmon is the common name. Reddish hairs on the abdomen. So I'm going to sex the molt and hopefully we'll get a female. Alright. Alright guys, here's the molt of my Pseudohopalopus spinulopappus. Luckily, it looks like we have a female. You can see this flap right here between the first pair of book longs. There's the first pair and the second pair is down here. And then there's our flap. So a female. Makes me very happy. Alright, great. I'm wondering if this foam here on these leaves are results of spittle bugs. There's one there, or the foam. There's some foam, and there's some foam. I mean, it looks just like spit. I don't see any actual spittle bugs around here, but there is the foam. So I'm wondering if that's what that is. If that's what that came from. But I don't see any actual spittle bugs at the moment. There's the largest one there. Yeah. Interesting. I think it's the first time I've actually noticed that. Alright, that's cool. Isn't that cute? On my swimming pool, no less. Is that how it's gonna be? I caught you. Alright, well. Have fun. But I'd rather you do it someplace else. Alright. You too? My goodness. Even the worms are in the mood. I'm sorry I ruined your mood. Oh, so did that pill bug. Hey, you can just find all kinds of critters when you lift up these little walking steps. Look at that. Look how long they are. Oh. I'm sorry I ruined the mood, didn't I? Bye-bye. And it looks like we have an earwig. You can see its pinchers in the back. We got a lot of earwigs here in Tennessee. What's that other little bug? I missed it. Kind of cute, huh? Well, in a buggy kind of way. If you don't like bugs, you probably don't think it's cute. All right. That pill bug is like, help me. I don't know, maybe they're buddies. I don't know what food that is that these ants are attracted to, but it is really cool to see that. I just don't know what that is, but they like it, whatever it is. They're just carrying it around like a well-oiled machine. Ants are very intelligent, and there's a snail that's probably like, what in the world? You know, a lot of insects work together, sometimes against each other and sometimes together. Where'd that earthworm go? I saw. There it is. Earthworm, pill bug, snail. I always like to look under stones and blocks to see what's going on under there. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's kind of hypnotic in a way. Maybe I need to buy me an ant farm. Alright, we'll let these guys get to work. The worm's like, get me out of here. A lot of ants under this one too, but not as many. They're busy as can be. Let's see what's under this one. Again, tons of ants. But other than that, nothing interesting. You never know what you're going to find outside. Alright. Well, check it out. Look at that little baby orb weaver. Isn't that fascinating? I mean, this thing's small. I mean, look, put my hand behind it. You can see how big it is. Or how small it is in this case. But it's so mesmerizing to watch them make their webs. I always look forward to finding the orb weavers every spring. I mean, just like watching jellyfish in a tank, I can watch spiders weave a web and be content. Well, she wants to be still right now, so I guess we'll cut this off for now. Alright. I found a little baby centipede. Check it out. I don't know what kind that is. That's really cool to see. That's a pretty long one. Very small though. Yeah. That's pretty awesome, huh? Yeah. Trying to see what that other bug is right there. I don't know. A silverfish? I really can't tell. There's a whole bunch of earthworms. We had a thunderstorm today. Oh, there's a spider that came down to say hello. But yeah, when you lift up stuff, you can find all kinds of little goodies. Lots of earthworms. Oh yeah. Well, there you go. All kinds of surprises. Alright. There he is in my pool again. Yep. Isn't it really neat to see them breathe like that? It's really cute. Where's your mate? Alright, just wanted to show you. I like to do that too. I like to lay on my raft, although I prefer sunlight myself. But hey, you enjoy it tonight. Alright. That's an interesting looking color. Wow. It almost looked like it shot something out of its butt. I mean, did it like poop or something? I don't know, but wow. Those colors are really cool. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is. It's pretty, whatever it is. Is it a type of moth or? I don't know, but I'm loving those colors. Thought I'd show you. Nice. I got us a nice caterpillar munching on a leaf tonight. Look at all that red on there. Like a little baby grasshopper maybe, or locust. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Nice. You never know what kind of critters you're going to find. Alright. Here's some little red bugs. I don't know what these are. I have no idea. They're kind of cool though. Thought they were chiggers at first, but I'm not so sure about that. Some of those look too big to be chiggers. But I mean, it's really cool when all you can see. Aphids? I have no idea. Really neat looking though. Feel free to chime in if you happen to know. I live in Tennessee, so feel free to chime in if you happen to know what these are, or any of the other bugs. Alright. Here's a neat looking spider. It looks like the kind of spider that has those crabby looking legs. I'm not as familiar with the true spiders as I am tarantulas. Maybe I can get it to kind of scoot over a little bit. We can see more of it. Of course, it I mean, it blends in really well with the leaf. Of course, the flash is making it look white, but it's really, well, the abdomen is white, but the rest of it's like a green color to match the greenery. But yeah, and there's some little bitty bug. I don't know what that is. That's really cool. Yeah, camera just doesn't do it justice. All kinds of little critters out here. Alright. Just another beautiful orb weaver. Look at all that. Aren't they amazing? You made babies in my pool. I had to get some tadpoles out of my pool. You need to find some other place to do that. You are cute though. And the other one is way over there. Okay, back to the spiders. Isn't that amazing? God's creatures are amazing. Nice. Another beauty. Now she waits. And here's a little centipede. We have these a lot in Tennessee. Cool, huh? And they move very fast too. Here's a little bitty baby orb weaver. Isn't that cute? You can see how small it is in comparison to my hand. Yeah. And here's two different species of beetle hanging out. I see these a lot. Very common. I already had to clean out my pool because you made a bunch of tadpoles. Now I'm gonna have to do it again, I see. Oh well. We're gonna have a lot of orb weavers. I got a lot of these in my yard. They're gonna be nice and fat in September. With these gigantic webs. And amazing to watch them work like that. This might be the biggest one I've seen so far this year. Busy, busy, busy. What a beauty. Alright, we'll let you work. Check it out. The biggest orb weaver of the year so far. In my backyard. Look at that. And she's not even full grown yet. She's just a juvenile. Look at that. Look how big that is. I mean, the camera just doesn't do it justice, does it? It never does. Wow. I had to crawl under so I wouldn't disturb her web. Although my dog is about to disturb it. Peanut. Okay, luckily he didn't. But yeah, isn't that gorgeous? Now I'm gonna have to take some pictures. Where's your boyfriend? Or your husband? I don't know my frogs, so I don't know whether this is the male or the female, really. Oh, you better watch out, moth. Y'all gonna make some more tadpoles for my swimming pool, huh? Yeah? More work for me to do, huh? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm always having to scoop up your babies out of here. I mean, as cute as they are, I don't want them to accumulate in here. No offense. Alright, well, you croak away. Enjoy. I'm going to look this up, but I'm wondering if this is a click beetle. I'm going to look it up. When I picked it up, it was clicking. See if I could show you. See, it's doing it. See, it just did it. And it plays dead. See? Yeah, see, it just clicked again. You can feel it. You see? I'm gonna look it up. I'm really curious what this is. See what I'm saying? You should have seen it do a cool flip just then. I don't know if the camera caught that. Kind of reminds me of those suction cup toys that bounce when you put it down. Kind of does a cool little let's play spin the bug. And there it goes, off on its merry way. I just thought I'd show you that. That's pretty cool. It's time to go hunting for giant orb weaver webs. Let's see if this big web is still out here in my backyard. Oh, I think I see it. Oh yeah, in my way like usual. There it is in all its glory. Look at that. It's funny how they know where to put it up in the same spot. Although there was another time it was more like against this tree. But as you can see now, it's not. It's still attached to it, but it's just facing a different way now. Yep. Nifty. You see how big it is. It's not quite big. I mean, it's probably a juvenile. Definitely going to be a lot more impressive in size by the fall, late summer, early fall. Oh, did you get a bug? Or you thought you were going to? There was one flying near the web. Cool, isn't it? Alright. Just thought I'd show you. Check out the centipede. A different one than we saw more recently. I wonder if it's... Oh, look at that. Really cool, huh? And there's an earthworm. It's really neat. You never know what you're going to uncover. Another earthworm. Alright. Well, I don't want to disturb it more than I already have. Alright, we'll move on. Oh, she lost it. I didn't know if she could do much with that beetle anyway. That beetle was quite big. I don't know if the little fangs of this orb weaver would have been able to penetrate the beetle's armor. But she sure was trying. She's probably not happy that her web is a little torn up as a result of that altercation. Maybe next time, girlie. Maybe you'll get a moth. Something easier next time. I really, love spiders, but I really don't want you on my door. You're gonna have to find another place to make your web. I didn't do that. My dog did that. I'm sorry, little one. My dog walked right under this web and messed it up after all that hard work. The life of a spider. Their work is never done. The dog won't be able to reach this one. This one's higher up. This web won't be destroyed by the dog. I mean, isn't that mesmerizing? Yeah, I like watching jellyfish in a tank. I also love to watch spiders spin their webs. It's mesmerizing to me. You hate to see it destroyed after all that work. flash on this camera almost makes it look like it's glowing, doesn't it? It's pretty cool. Well, may you catch you some tasty morsels of moth and other flying insects. Enjoy. Alright guys, I'm going to do a little rehousing video here of my Brachypelma albiceps. It's time for it to move to a little bit of a larger enclosure. So I got some of its old decor that it had in its former enclosure and some new decor, and then I kept the water dish and the little hide also to be, that way it can be familiar with it and won't be too confused of its new home. So I have a catch cup ready in case it decides to escape, and I have a paintbrush to urge it to move forward. And so we'll see how this goes. This one is a little skittish, so it may be a little runny, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to take the lid off here of the old enclosure and see if I can get it to come in here without too much of a fuss. So I'm going to urge it to go this way into its new home. And of course it doesn't want to go without a fight. Yeah. Come on. Let's go. No, let's not go back into the old enclosure. I got a new one. Come on. No, let's not do that. Alright, I'm going to cheat. Since I can tell this one's not bitey, I'm going to risk handling this one. Like that. Now, you know some of this stuff. There you go. See, I cheated. I know, I used my hands. There are definitely some in my collection I would definitely not use my hands for, but I could tell by the body language of this one, and they don't tend to be very defensive anyway. So I was willing to take the risk with this one, but there are others I will have to figure out other ways. But like use a catch cup to put it into the cup and then transfer the cup into the enclosure. That would be easier with a more difficult species. But so there you go. I hope you like your new home, sweetie. Give you a little more room to move around. Yeah, I don't know the gender on this one quite yet. I don't think I have a good molt for this one. But hopefully the next one we will know for sure. Alright, let's see what else we need to transfer. Alright, my next rehouse is going to be the Brachypelma bomi. And if you're real lucky, you'll already have the tarantula in a cup, so then you can do a much easier transfer. So, you know those like red plastic cups that you can buy at the store for a pretty good deal? I just kind of cut it up to make a hide out of it, and just add just a little bit of decor and a little bottle cap. So this one is a step up larger, so it'll be good for another couple molts maybe. So I'm going to transfer this one over, and hopefully, you know, this one, just like the albiceps, is going to be a little skittish. This one has thrown up a threat posture one time, but this should be easy, I think. So I'm just going to take the spider and the cup out like that. You see her in there? And I'm going to turn it around and see if I can point the hide into the direction of this other hide. And that way it'll just go hide in its new hide. So that's what I did. And if I really had to, I could just leave this in here and let the spider come out on its own, but I didn't want to do that this time. With some I will, but not this one. I didn't need to. So there you go. That one was easier than the last one. Alright, so now we may go on to some harder ones coming up, but maybe. We shall see. Alright, let's see what else we got to move. Alright guys, I'm going to be doing another rehouse, and this time it'll be the electric blue earth tiger. It's a kilo brackies, and I made the substrate damp, not sopping wet, but it is damp. And also it's a juvenile, so I gave it plenty of substrate to burrow in, and also I even put a cave kind of like down in there, and it could choose to use it, or it'll probably just web up all of this and use it as its hide. Maybe even make its own web tube inside the tube. So it may be tricky trying to get this one out, because you know they don't they're very fast and they're old world, so they have potent venom. So I'm not willing to handle this one if at all possible. So we're going to see if we can get this one out peacefully as best we can, because they will not get out peacefully. I'm hoping that it's just webbed up in its tube here, and it'll be easy for me just to pull out the webbed part of the tube inside the tube and pretty much just stick it in its new hide. That's what I'm hoping to do. So I'm going to hope that it's in there. And but I am going to dig around in here and see. I don't think it's down here at the bottom, but I'm going to carefully dig around just in case. Oh, it may be at the bottom. Hold on. Or is that just a molt? Nope, that's the spider. Okay, so that one is trash. So I'm going to take out this substrate over here. I was hoping it was going to be in the tube of the webbing, but no, of course not. So I'm trying to do this without injuring the spider. Removing the substrate. What I might end up doing to prevent injury is, let's see. Let's see if I can. Sorry about the yard work as usual. I always have to start yard working as soon as I try to record a video. I'm thinking this one may have molted recently. So I have to be extra careful. Yeah. There it is. Can you see the purple? Oh yeah. What a beauty. Alright. So I'm going to put the lid on while I can. Alright, you enjoy your new home. Alright.